Hi, it's Stephen here from Sound of an Ocean Wave, coming to do day 12 of the September daily draws, and we're taking the first card from the Tarot Grand Luxe deck, and then an Oracle card from the Oracle Visions deck, as usual. So let's see what kind of message we're going to get today, and let's begin by picking our first card. Last minute shuffle. Okay, here we go. So let's see where we're going to cut the deck today. Today we'll go there. So our card for today is no. That deck has had a long, hard shuffle several times. Riffle shuffle, normal shuffle, randomly mixing up the cards, and again we have the death card like we did yesterday. So this is something about transition, change. It's obviously an important message that keeps coming through. I don't know if it's any for it's probably for me because I'm pulling the cards. So first and foremost, it's my draw. So it's probably something that the cards trying to say to me. Maybe it applies to some of you as well. But it's funny because yesterday I knew we'd drawn this card when we drew the death card yesterday. I knew we'd already drawn it this month, and I looked back, and it was Wednesday yesterday, and I actually looked back, and it was the previous Wednesday. So that's the two Wednesdays it came out. So the first Wednesday and the second Wednesday, and now we have it 2 days in a row. We've now have it a Wednesday and a Thursday in this week. So that's 3 times this month. So this is obviously an important card for this month. So it's change, transition, like all the things I said yesterday, and I want to be careful of repeating myself. You know, I might as well just say, look at yesterday's video. But you know, I mean, what more new things can you say about the same card? But it's obviously, like I said yesterday, it's an ongoing process, and the repetition of this card is emphasizing that it's not just for one day, and it's not just for 1 week. It's a continual process that might take a bit of time, but it is a process. And you know, what is it that we need to see from this card? I'm just looking to see if there's any extra insight that I might gain from looking at the card. Obviously, I'm always drawn. There's the mask, obviously. There's the mask. Sometimes the situation, we don't fully understand the nature of change and transition. We don't know what's behind it, because sometimes the circumstances disguise the purpose of the transition. You know, when I see the must just stuck out to me there. So sometimes we don't always know why this change, why this transition is happening. We don't know all the details. Often the full purpose of it is, during the process, is concealed. We just have to trust that the process is for a reason, and it may only be after we've gone through the process, through the transition, and maybe even quite some way down the line afterwards, that we may be able to look back and see why that transition was necessary, why that change was necessary. So we may not always be fully aware of the purpose for what's going on, but if the change is necessary, it's necessary for a reason, and we just have to just go through the process, sometimes with a little bit of, not blind trust, but just a little bit of trust in the universe, in the process, trust in ourselves that we can, we have the strength and the resilience, and maybe it's to build the more resilience within us. Any kind of reason it can be for, but we may not always be readily aware of it at the time, because sometimes death wears a mask. Sometimes it's not always clear, but the rose there shows us the promise of hope, of change, of a more of a purity, of a cleansing, that kind of process. So just be patient, just hang in there. And as I say, it is a process, and as I said yesterday, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It will, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It will end. The process, it's a process for a purpose, but we don't always know the reason straight away. So I think that's the message. You don't always know the reason straight away, but you still need to go through the process. And I think perhaps that's what additional sort of message it's adding to what we've already learnt about it. But I do think it's really really significant that we've had this 3 times now, and 2 days in a row in this same week. So there's something that the universe is trying to say to us, or at the very least to me. So let's see what oracle card would be. It would be interesting to see what oracle card we get to go with that. But yes, and as I say, that those cards were really, because before I come on, I really give them a good shuffling, and I just give a last minute shuffle before I draw, and so what are the chances? It's obviously meant to be. Right, so the oracle card for today. Let's go here. And our oracle card is obviously you've got puppets here, you've got a scene here, marionettes there, so maybe I often see this, that who's pulling your strings? Are you in charge of your life, or is someone else pulling your strings? Is that what the change is about? Cutting the strings of other people, manipulating you. You got to stand in your own power. Are you the one doing the manipulating? Or is it just this? What's going on here? Is this is just a play acting, a pretense? Theatre. Behind what's behind the mask? Are they wearing masks on the? No, they're not wearing masks. But it's playing out a scene. So let the scene of this transition take place. You've got I don't know if these toys here are supposed to be watching, but it's definitely I think that when you're going through the process, let the process lead you through it, but be careful, but to make sure you stand in your own power, in your own strength, and you be careful about how people are treating you during this period, because when you're going through a transitional period and a change, sometimes you can be vulnerable, and when you're vulnerable, if people spot that vulnerability, people can take advantage. So guard yourself against people taking advantage and trying to manipulate and pull your strings. Be in charge, be in charge, be in control of yourself, and be careful as you go through this important transitional period of change. I think that's the message. As you go through this vulnerable period of change, be careful about how guard yourself from being manipulated by those that would seek to take advantage of you during this period. So I think that is the message from the Oracle card to add into that. Okay, so again, that's the message for today. I'll be back tomorrow to do day 13. Yes, it's Friday the 13th tomorrow, and who knows, we may get the Death card again, or we may get something totally different. Who knows? That's the all exciting part about tarot and doing these daily draws. So take care of yourselves. Thanks for listening, and I will see you all again very soon. Okay, bye bye.